Cloudstrike, one of the coolest and most satisfying guns to use inside of PvP. This season, the Destiny gods have blessed us with a catalyst which gives this weapon a much needed handling buff. So many of you have probably seen my old tier list video, since that is the biggest video on my channel. I placed Cloudstrike near the top but couldn't quite give it that number one spot. However, I think this season it may be the best sniper in the game overall, and here's why. So first, we all know what makes Cloudstrike, well, Cloudstrike, right? The ability to just get multi-kills for free is unmatched. There is no other sniper in the game that can do this. I mean, there's really no other weapon in the game, right? Outside of heavy ammo that can generate multi-kills quite like Cloudstrike can. Now, why do I think Cloudstrike is potentially the best sniper in the game all of a sudden? Well, for me, Cloudstrike has always had three major weaknesses that kept it from being number one. The first was being that it lacked snapshot. This was the biggest issue for me personally. Just not having that snapshot perk has always been a huge detriment for me. The second weakness was lack of an Icarus mod, since it was an exotic sniper. And finally, the fact that it is a 140 RPM frame, which is definitely the weakest frame of sniper in my opinion. So what has changed? Well, first off, I mentioned it didn't have snapshot. So it still doesn't have snapshot, but it does have more handling from its catalyst. Does this on its own make up for no snapshot though? No, I don't think it does. But there is something else new this season that does make up for no snapshot, and that is the new mod system. So prior to this season, sniper targeting would cost 5 energy in your helmet. So for me, I would never run sniper targeting because that's just too much. I had to run like a primary targeting as well. I just couldn't fit it. But this season, arc targeting only costs 3 energy. And if you're on an arc subclass, it only costs 2 energy. So here's where the difference is for me. I can run double targeting mods for arc. This will only cost 6 on a non-arc subclass and 4 on an arc subclass. This, combined with the catalyst, makes this feel exactly like snapshot, or at least close enough to where I don't think it's like a negative or a weakness of the weapon anymore. I personally also use Ophidian Aspect pretty often, so that combination of double targeting, Ophidian Aspect, and the catalyst is actually crazy. Definitely makes up for snapshot, if not like beyond snapshot, so definitely give that a go. Okay, so next weakness for Cloudstrike was that it had the inability to jump snipe because there was no mod slot. Well, this didn't really get fixed necessarily, but the ability to jump snipe has essentially been removed from every sniper in the game, not just exotic snipers. With the addition of AE, it is pretty hard to jump snipe. I don't even think it's worth using your ammo on the literal slot machine that is trying to jump snipe. So the only time I would jump snipe would be on Top Tree Dawn with heat rises, and if you're doing that, you can use Cloudstrike anyway because your AE will be maxed. So they didn't really get rid of this weakness, but it's kind of irrelevant because all snipers have this weakness now. Next up, the final weakness that I've always had with Cloudstrike is that it is a 140 RPM. Now obviously this still exists and has not been changed, so this is the main weakness that still exists for this weapon, as 140 RPM snipers are definitely the worst of the 3 frames, but I think that the ability to nuke an entire team with a single bullet can more than make up for that. So yeah, this is still the main weakness that exists, but basically I don't think that that is an issue for the most part. It's not that 140 RPM frames are bad or anything like that, it's just not quite as good as the others. So before I would think, well, it's just not worth it, but now the other 2 weaknesses have been eliminated, so now it's just, well, I don't really like this frame, but that's no big deal, to be honest. This gun is definitely worth using now. So those are the main reasons why I think Cloudstrike is probably the strongest sniper in the game now, but I do have a few other reasons as well. The first being related to the meta. So as you all know, the Immortal SMG, yeah, it's kind of popular. I don't know, maybe you've heard of it, maybe not, but it's definitely hard meta at the time of this video. Like, I'm pretty sure the sound of that stupid gun is going to be haunting me in my sleep like for years to come. So this is what we're all going to be forced to use, have the pleasure to use for the foreseeable future. I really can't think of a more perfect weapon to pair with it. Combine that with like Peacekeepers on an Arc Titan, which will also be the meta for the foreseeable future. You can run strand targeting and double arc targeting, and that would only cost 5 energy. Yeah, so honestly, I think you'll see this loadout a ton in trials. The other thing you'll see is probably Beloved for like an alternative sniper. I think those will be the top 2 snipers you'll see. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Definitely like and subscribe, it helps me out. But as always, I am awake, and thanks for watching.